And here's some character on the corner laughing at you. And when you first start, you're intimidated. Oh my God, they think I'm a clown. Oh my God, you gotta not give a fuck. Right? You know how you have to look at that person? Here is a mass of ignorant flesh, and I am not obeying their concept of what I'm supposed to be. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. My name is Renee Imperato. I am a trans woman for 35 years. I like to say that very few of us trans women have been able to avoid a point, it's impossible, where we were unconscious male impersonators. I was an unconscious male impersonator in the trans community starting in 1973. You know, I used to put gloves because I didn't want people to see my nails. I hate to say it, I could start crying now, intimidated by the ignorant. You know, I'd say, oh, this was too shocking for them. Let me just modify a little. No. So by 89, 90, that's when I really became Renee. The 220 Club, which is at 220 West Houston, was an after-hours club. Opened at 4 in the morning, and it went till, depending on the day, 9, 10. If I had to pick my best job ever, I might have picked that. I worked the door. I did bouncer a little. So I was part of the staff. I worked the snack bar and coat check at the 220 with Stormy. De La Vere, a legend. I mean, even when I sort of define myself as being out as a trans girl, I had some of the greatest parents in the world. I mean, Sally and Frankie. Of course, Marsha P. Johnson, Sylvia Rivera, let me see, Jackie LaFrenchie. I'm thinking of all these fabulous women that guided me and inspired me. The first club I ever went to was called the Gilded Grape. 8th Avenue between 45th and 46th. On that block, there was a lot of drag queens in those apartment buildings. So much to the point that the slang neighborhood name for that block specifically was TV City. There are many nights that I spent with quite a few drag queen, trans girlfriends I had. That's what we were. We were drag kings or drag queens. You know, and here's the other thing that a lot of people don't understand, and I mean especially white people. Drag queen comes from the oppressed. Trans, drag, people of color. And it was like their answer in rebuttal to the white, super rich monarchy that we are our monarchy. We have our queens and kings. And you've got to look at it from that perspective and understand that. Well, I started in a taxi. That's really when I started. They come out of the Cub, they weren't lucky. They get in the cab, and I'm like, where we going, honey? You know? Well, I'm looking for a little variety in life. Oh, what kind of variety is that? Well, I have a girlfriend, but you know, sometimes I like to dabble on the other side of the street, or, you know, I don't know. The conversations just kind of take on a life of their own, you know. Usually mine is, so where are we going, honey? Because why? I'm a taxi driver. I can ask them that. It's not even like I'm talking to a cop and soliciting. Where are we going, honey? And then you start a conversation. Do I know other cab drivers who worked like I did? No, frankly. Surprisingly. Now that doesn't mean that there weren't any. I'm just saying it was a rarity, you know? But I learned how to nurture my method, you know? And, I mean, they get in the cab. Where are they? And first of all, I did almost all my tricks in the cab, on the street, parked to the curb. Certain streets. Charlton Street, Varick and Hudson. 18th Street, 8th and 9th. Certain spots, there's a tree there, there's a bare wall. You know, you got this shit down to fucking science, honey. You know? And you get them in the cab and, you know, party. See, there's some apartment building. It's kind of called the Southwest Village, right? Because foot traffic in Greenwich Village, once you go south of Christopher, foot traffic is greatly reduced. You know? Even now. I told you after that time I was in a parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning, empty, and this cop saw me at a parking lot on 29th Street between 11th and what was then called, you know, they say West Street. West Street used to be 12th Avenue. Then they changed it. A fucking cop car pulled up. I'm about to get it on. And I never forget, the cop says to me, "Do you realize how obvious you are? You're in an empty fucking parking lot. It's January, your motor's running. Right? I can see the exhaust. What the fuck are you doing in this lot?" Now, you want to know something? If I was parked on the same street, on the curb, nothing would have happened. But when you work a parking lot, worst thing you can do. So after that, and then whatever the fuck happened, the cop didn't pinch me. And he didn't ask me to have sex with him either. So after that, I just started doing shit like parked here. I mean, look, honey, I'm not going to say, but look, right? You and me, I'm in the front. People don't look. And in some neighborhoods, even less. Like Chelsea, that's no big deal. I mean, sex work then was different, you know. You didn't have all this shit now with the fucking internet. Fucking Mr. Number and verify him and who the fuck is screening you. You did everything right there. I mean, the nature of the way I did my business is very untypical. You know? I didn't work the sidewalk. I almost did, got busted. How many other sex workers I knew in the street? Volumes. You know? And like I said, like, suppose I was like here, and I get up to the corner, I see a cop car, and around the corner is like Marsha, or, you know, Wilhelmina, or Jackie. I pull up next to them, I say, "Cops around the corner." Boom, they jump in the back, I turn on the meter like they're a fair. I did that countless times. After I posted on Facebook, and I said, "Yay, I did this shoot, like on lampposts." And I just said, you know, I didn't even think about it. I just said, it's good to be out on the street again where I belong. And one of the old timers posted, "Renee, you are the street." That I am the street. That my street is my home. I'm at home in the street. You sort of work in the street. You do, and you pound the street. It means, you know what? How about this? It means like you own the street. You know? That might be the greatest compliment I ever had in my life. Like even in San Francisco in the 90s, you know, we would create little vampire vignettes or medical experimentation scenarios, you know, where, you know, you get like a couple of guys, you go to their house and you put on a performance for them, right? And You get them to tell you their wife's name, right? And then you'd fucking talk to them about what happened to their wife. What's her name? Ellen? Oh, really? And you had trouble paying the bills. And Ellen decided that she had to make some extra money. And there were volunteers needed for experimental drugs. And on her way home from work, she volunteered for one experimental drug. But what happened to her as she went home? And your wife, Ellen, came home, and suddenly you found out that she grew a big cock. And you knew you had to suck it. And the motherfuckers would be like this. You work these motherfuckers, honey. It wasn't just, you're not just sucking and fucking, you're talking about how you suck and how you fuck. You know? Like the prologue. I had this boy in the cab. I must have been about 40, early 40s. And this guy, I mean, I don't know. He was in his early 20s. And, he was sort of hitting on me. And finally I said, listen, let me ask you a question. I said, you're hitting on me. I said, I'm twice your age. I said, I have less hair than you. It's going gray. Why are you attracted to me? And he looked at me and he said, I got a mommy complex. A lot of people, what they do is they try to make believe there's something they're not. Mama. I use what I am. They said, you're giving away your age. I looked and said, bitch. I use my fucking age. Are you kidding? That's the liberating process. You use what you are. I mean, I remember when people first started calling me mama, I was like, I'm a mama? Now I like it. And you know what? They put me there. I didn't put myself in the scenario. It was like organic, kind of evolutionary thing. I did the walk.
The walk.
Right. Walk the walk and talk the talk. How's that? Like the practicality of every day, how to step off from the curb into the gutter. Okay? Yeah. How to look for tricks, right? How to shake them down. How to get their money. Okay? I think this just passes down generation to generation. I'm certainly not the only one. You teach them, always remember a face you see often. If you see that face in different places at different times, I pretty easily pick out a DT. That's what we called undercover cops then, DTs. I think though, you want to know the truth? I think you can talk as much as you want. You don't learn more than you do from practical experience. Mm-hmm. You can give a few pointers that when you take the gloves off, even though you might shock some people, you don't modify. That's what I think I actually started to do years and years and years ago. Because most of the people who do gay bashing or trans bashing, they're closet cases. They see you, they see me, and we remind them of something that they feel inside themselves that they hate. And now I've reminded them of that, and now they have to punish me. I'd say, oh, this was too shocking for them. Let me just modify a little. No. Ratchet it up. Because you know what happens? You wear them out. It's like you beat them down. It's a protracted struggle. And our revolution